Every time you step into the gym, you're faced with a choice. Drag yourself through the motions or ignite a fire that turns your entire workout into fuel for greatness. Energy isn't something you wait for, it's something you command. And the moment you understand that, the moment you realize energy is not given but created, you unlock a level of power inside you that most people never touch in their entire lives. Energy is not a gift, it's a weapon. It's the difference between the person who quits halfway and the one who dominates until the very last rep. The question is simple: will you let energy control you, or will you rise up and generate it when your body screams that you're done? Because champions don't wait for the perfect moment, they create it with unstoppable energy. When it comes to energy, everything begins with what you put inside your body. You cannot expect to perform like a hyper-performance machine if you're fueling yourself with low-quality fuel. Imagine putting dirty oil into a sports car engine. No matter how powerful the machine is, it will slow down, break down, and eventually fail. That's exactly what happens when you feed your body with junk food, sugary snacks, and processed garbage. You drain your energy before you even step foot in the gym. When you fuel your body right, your energy skyrockets. Eating clean foods like lean proteins, whole grains, fruits, and vegetables gives your body the raw materials it needs to build muscle, recover faster, and keep pushing forward. These foods are not just calories, they are energy packets designed to make you stronger, sharper, and more resilient. When you eat to fuel, you don't feel sluggish, you feel unstoppable. Think about it: every rep, every lift, every drop of sweat requires energy. If you walk into the gym underfueled, you're handicapping yourself before you even touch the weights. But when you've eaten the right fuel, your muscles are primed, your endurance is ready, and your stamina is locked in. You're not dragging yourself through the workout, you're powering through it. Fueling your body right also means respecting hydration. Water isn't just something you drink when you're thirsty. It's the lifeblood of energy. Dehydration doesn't just weaken your muscles, it clouds your mind, steals your focus, and robs you of your power. 1 gallon of water a day isn't optional if you want to dominate the gym, it's mandatory. Hydration is the difference between a sluggish workout and a legendary one. The food you eat also affects your recovery. If you're constantly fueling yourself with junk, your muscles won't repair fast enough, and you'll feel sore, tired, and weak. But if you're giving your body clean protein, proper carbs, and healthy fats, you're rebuilding stronger after every workout. Every meal becomes a step forward instead of a step back. People often complain they don't have the energy to train. But the truth is, they just waste it on the wrong foods. Sugary drinks give you a quick spike, then leave you crashing. Fast food might taste good, but it steals tomorrow's energy. True energy isn't about short bursts. It's about consistent power that fuels you for hours. That kind of energy only comes from clean, disciplined eating. You have to start thinking of your meals as your strategy, not your weakness. Every bite is either feeding your goals or feeding your excuses. When you pick grilled chicken over fried chicken, when you drink water instead of soda, when you eat brown rice instead of fries, you're not just choosing food, you're choosing energy, performance, and victory. Fueling your body right also creates discipline. It's easy to grab whatever's convenient, but champions don't settle for easy. Champions know that what they eat outside the gym determines how they perform inside the gym. That's why they prepare their meals, they track their macros, they take responsibility for their energy. Discipline in the kitchen builds dominance in the gym. When you fuel your body right, you also fuel your mind. Eating clean sharpens your focus, clears your thoughts, and keeps you mentally locked in. Ever notice how heavy junk food makes you feel? Slow, foggy, drained. But when you eat clean, you feel lighter, faster, sharper. Energy isn't just physical, it's mental, and the right fuel powers both. This doesn't mean you'll never enjoy a treat, but it means you respect your goals enough to say no when it matters. Success isn't about perfection, it's about consistency. Fueling your body right isn't about short-term diets, it's about long-term lifestyle. The more consistent you are, the more unstoppable your energy becomes. Fuel is also about timing. Eating the right meals before training gives you the power to crush your workout. Eating the right meals after training helps you recover and come back stronger. Energy isn't random, it's designed. You need to be intentional about when and how you fuel your body if you want maximum results. When you start fueling your body right, you'll notice the difference not just in your workouts, but in your life. You'll wake up with more energy, you'll attack the day with more drive, and you'll carry yourself with more confidence. The gym isn't the only place that benefits every part of your life. Get stronger when your body is fueled the right way. Fueling your body right is also about respecting your future. Every meal is an investment in who you're becoming. Junk food satisfies the moment, but discipline satisfies the vision. When you choose the right fuel, you're not just eating for today's workout. You're eating for tomorrow's strength, next week's growth, and the future version of yourself that refuses to quit. At the end of the day, fueling your body right is proof of how bad you want it. Anyone can talk about goals, but your plate reveals your commitment. If you want the energy to crush weights, break limits, and dominate your journey, you have to fuel yourself like a champion. Because champions don't just train hard, they eat smart, they hydrate, and they prepare their bodies to win. That's why energy begins with fuel. It's not about luck, it's not about chance, it's about discipline. Feed your body right, and your body will reward you with strength, stamina, and power beyond what you thought was possible. You don't just fuel to survive, you fuel to conquer. When you step into the gym, you're not just lifting weights. You're lifting the heavy doubts that life has placed on your shoulders. Every rep, every set, every drop of sweat is proof that you are rewriting the story of who you are. Fear will whisper, you can't. Doubt will echo, it's too heavy. But deep inside, a voice roars louder, I will. That roar is the fire of transformation. You see, muscles don't grow in comfort, they grow in resistance. And life doesn't reward hesitation. It rewards those who dare to move forward even when fear tries to paralyze them. You have to decide today that fear will not dictate your path. It might show up, but it will not control you. Because when you face it head on, it loses its power. Fear is nothing but a wall of smoke. It looks solid until you push against it. And when you push, you realize there was nothing there in the first place. In the gym, that wall is the weight you thought was too heavy. It's the extra set you thought you couldn't finish. Outside the gym, it's the dream you've been too scared to chase. But let me tell you this, the iron doesn't lie. It doesn't care about your excuses. It doesn't care about your fear. It doesn't care about your feelings. It gives back only what you put into it. And if you face it without fear, it will reward you with strength, not just physical, but mental, emotional, unshakable strength that carries over into every area of your life. When the bar feels heavy and your arms are trembling, that's when most people quit. That's when fear convinces them they're not strong enough. But the fearless one knows that this is the moment that matters most. This is the exact second when growth begins. It's not when the weights are easy, it's when they crush you, when your mind screams for mercy, and you refuse to give in. Fear wants you to drop the bar, but courage tells you to push one more time. And when you do, when you rack that bar with shaking arms and a pounding heart, you're not the same person anymore. You've leveled up, you've proven to yourself that you are capable of more than fear ever wanted you to believe. Your comfort zone is a cage, and fear is the lock that keeps you inside, but the key is in your hands. It's called action. Every time you step into the gym when you don't feel like it, every time you load that bar heavier than before, you're turning the key, and little by little, the cage breaks open. Soon, you're not the person who hesitated, who held back, who played it safe. You become the one who charges forward, who welcomes the challenge, who looks fear in the eye and says, "Is that all you got?" That's the transformation. That's where the real power lies. Fear loses its grip the moment you stop running and start attacking. Listen, fear feeds on hesitation. The longer you wait, the bigger it grows. But the second you move, it starts shrinking. That's why action beats fear every single time. Think about it. How many times were you scared to try something, but once you did it, you realized it wasn't as bad as you thought? That's what the gym teaches you daily. You stare at the weights, you doubt yourself. But once you grab that bar, you unleash strength you didn't even know you had. Life works the same way. Stop waiting for the fear to go away before you act. It won't. You must act while you're afraid, and the action itself destroys the fear. That's how legends are built. The truth is, everyone feels fear. Even the strongest athletes, the biggest champions, the most successful people in the world, they all feel it. But here's the difference. They don't let fear stop them. They use it as fuel. They see fear not as a signal to run, but as a signal that they're on the right path. Because if you're not scared, it probably means you're not pushing hard enough. In the gym, if the weight doesn't intimidate you a little, it's too light to change you. In life, if your goals don't scare you, they're too small to transform you. So instead of avoiding fear, chase it. Run toward the thing that terrifies you, because that's where your next level lies. Fear is temporary, but regret is permanent. Think about that. The pain of fear lasts only for a moment, but the pain of regret can last a lifetime. One skipped workout, one moment of hesitation, one time you let fear win. That doesn't seem like much, but stack those moments together, and you build a life of what-ifs. And nothing is heavier than carrying regret. On the other hand, when you face fear, when you conquer it in the gym, you walk out with pride. You carry strength. You know deep down that you refuse to let fear dictate your story. That's the kind of life worth living. One of courage, not regret. When you face fear in the gym, you're practicing for life. The discipline, the courage, the relentless drive you build under the barbell transfers into everything you do. Suddenly, that fear of speaking up in a meeting doesn't stop you. That fear of starting your own business doesn't paralyze you. That fear of chasing your dreams doesn't hold you back anymore, because you've trained your mind and body to move forward even when fear shows up. Every rep is not just muscle, it's mental armor. Every drop of sweat is not just hard work, it's proof that you can conquer anything. The gym is your training ground for life. Fear tries to tell you that you're weak, but the weights prove otherwise. The moment you grab that bar, the moment you push against the resistance, you realize that weakness was just an illusion. Strength was always inside you. Fear was just the fog that tried to hide it. That's why you can't listen to that voice of doubt. You can acknowledge it, but you don't obey it. You let your actions answer back. Every rep says, "I am stronger than I thought." Every set says, "I refuse to quit." And the more you stack those victories, the more fear shrinks. Soon, the same weight that once terrified you becomes your warm-up. That's what happens when you choose courage over hesitation. You redefine what's possible. In the gym, every person has a choice. When fear creeps in, you can either surrender or stand tall. The ones who surrender will always stay the same. But the ones who stand tall, they're the ones who evolve into something unstoppable. And it's not because fear disappeared, it's because they refused to bow down to it. They walked straight into the fire and came out forged like steel. You have to remind yourself, fear is not your enemy. Fear is the test. Fear is the challenge that separates the average from the extraordinary. And every time you conquer it, you prove that you belong in the ranks of the relentless. Think about it. Fear shows up most when you're on the edge of a breakthrough. That's not a coincidence. Fear is the guard at the door of greatness, and most people stop when they see the guard. But the fearless, they push past anyway. They refuse to let the intimidation at the door keep them from entering the next level of their lives. In the gym, that means pushing for one more rep even when your body is screaming. In life, it means taking the leap toward the dream that seems impossible. The key is to understand that fear is the signpost. If you feel it, it means you're exactly where you need to be. Fear doesn't go away, you just get stronger. The things that scared you last year won't even faze you today because you've grown. That's the beauty of the grind. You outgrow your fears. At first, you were scared of picking up a certain weight. Now you warm up with it. At first, you were scared of showing up in the gym because people might judge you. Now you walk in with your chest out because you know you belong there. That's what happens when you choose courage again and again. You don't eliminate fear, you outgrow it. And as long as you keep growing, you'll always be ahead of it. Fear tries to paralyze you, but the fearless turn fear into fuel. When the weight feels heavy, when your lungs are on fire, when your legs are shaking, fear wants you to stop. But the fearless use that moment as the spark. They take that same fear and turn it into raw energy, driving the bar up, driving their bodies forward. In life, you can do the same. Let fear be your signal, your reminder that you're alive, that you're chasing something bigger than yourself. Fear is proof that you're on the battlefield. And if you're on the battlefield, then victory is possible. Here's the truth. Courage is not the absence of fear. It's the decision to act in spite of it. Every champion you admire has felt fear, but what sets them apart is that they moved anyway. That's exactly what you need to practice in the gym. You don't wait for the perfect moment, the perfect confidence, or the perfect conditions. You act while fear is present, and that action transforms you. You rack that barbell while your hands are trembling. You start that set even when your heart is pounding. You take that risk even though you're scared. That's how legends are made. So next time fear shows up in your workout, smile, because it means you're in the right place. You're about to grow. You're about to transform. Fear is the compass pointing you toward your breakthrough. Don't turn back when you feel it. Lean into it. Because one day, the very thing you were afraid of will become the story of your victory. One day, you'll look back at that weight, that challenge, that fear, and you'll say, I owned that. I conquered that, and nothing will ever stop me again. That's the mindset that separates winners from quitters. Winners don't wait for fear to vanish. They walk through it. They take it head on, set after set, day after day, until fear itself is afraid of them. And that's what you're becoming. Every time you face it in the gym, you're building a fearless version of yourself. Not someone without fear, but someone who refuses to let fear decide the outcome. And when you live like that, in the gym and in life, you become unstoppable. Energy is not just something you wait for, it's something you generate. Too many people step into the gym hoping for motivation to magically appear, but motivation is a product of movement. The moment you push your body into action, energy begins to rise. The first rep might feel heavy, the first step on the treadmill might feel slow, but as you keep moving, the fire inside starts to build. Energy isn't a gift, it's a result of effort. When you realize that, you'll stop waiting for the perfect mood and start creating it through action. Think about how many times you walked into the gym tired, unmotivated, maybe even on the verge of skipping the session. But then you pushed yourself through the warm-up, and suddenly your heart was pumping, your blood was flowing, and your mind shifted from sluggish to unstoppable. That's proof energy comes from effort, not the other way around. People who wait for energy never find it. But people who take action discover that energy was inside them all along, waiting to be unlocked by movement. Energy is momentum, and momentum is built one step at a time. Just like a heavy train doesn't move instantly, your body and mind need those first pushes to get rolling. But once the momentum is there, nothing can stop you. That's why consistency is everything. The more consistent you are, the faster your energy ignites every time you step into the gym. You don't waste time fighting with yourself. You've trained your body and mind to flip the switch the moment you begin. That's what separates the disciplined from the distracted, and here's the truth: energy feeds on discipline. When you treat your body with respect, fuel it with the right food, hydrate it with water, and give it rest, you've created a foundation where energy thrives. But discipline doesn't end with diet or sleep. It continues into every rep you do. Each rep adds to your bank of energy. Each set compounds into power. You don't just lift for strength. You lift for vitality, for endurance, for the kind of energy that carries you not only in the gym, but into every area of your life. Energy is also mental. A weak mindset will drain you faster than any heavy weight ever could. But when your thoughts are sharp, when your focus is locked, you become an unstoppable machine. Fear, doubt, excuses, they drain energy like leaks in a tank. But belief, vision, and purpose, they recharge you even in the middle of exhaustion. That's why the strongest people are not just physically powerful, but mentally relentless. They understand that energy begins in the mind before it ever shows up in the body. Have you ever noticed how someone passionate about their training seems to radiate energy even when they're exhausted? That's because passion is the ultimate battery. When you have a clear reason why you're pushing, why you're grinding, why you're sweating through the pain, energy never truly runs out. Passion keeps you fueled long after the body says stop. It whispers one more rep, one more set, one more step. And when you follow that whisper, you find energy reserves you never knew existed. Energy multiplies when you push beyond your comfort zone. The body is designed to adapt. The more you challenge it, the stronger and more energetic it becomes. But if you stay in your comfort zone, your energy stagnates. That's why the fearless keep testing their limits. They understand that energy grows in the struggle, not in the safety. When your muscles burn, when your lungs fight for air, that's not the end. That's the beginning of a new level of energy being unlocked. Energy also comes from environment. Step into a gym where people are grinding, sweating, pushing, and you'll feel your own energy rise. Surround yourself with winners, and you'll absorb their fire. But stay around quitters, and your energy will be drained before you even begin. That's why choosing the right atmosphere, the right people, and the right influences matters. Your energy is contagious, but so is theirs. Protect it, build it, and share it with those who elevate you higher. The ultimate truth is this: energy is not found, it is created. It's created through movement, through passion, through discipline, through environment, and through mindset. Every time you walk into the gym and demand more from yourself, you're creating energy. Every time you refuse to quit, you're generating power. And once you understand that you are the source, you'll never again say, "I don't have energy." Instead, you'll say, "I'll create it." When you take ownership of your energy, you stop living like a victim and start living like a warrior. You understand that nothing outside of you controls your fire. It's all within. And once you master that, you'll walk into the gym not just to lift weights, but to lift your spirit, your strength, your life. That's the moment you stop existing and start truly living. Because the one who can generate energy on demand can conquer anything. Energy is more than just the fuel you burn during your workout. It's the foundation you build before you even step into the gym. If you walk in drained, unfocused, and distracted, the weights will feel heavier, the sets will feel longer, and your progress will slow. But when you step in with your energy charged, your mind clear, and your focus sharp, everything changes. The same barbell that felt impossible yesterday becomes conquerable today because you prepared yourself not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. Energy is not an accident. It's a choice you make every single day. Think about the times when you trained with high energy. You pushed harder, you lasted longer, and you surprised yourself with what you could achieve. That wasn't luck. That was the result of what you fed your body, how much rest you gave yourself, and the mindset you carried into the gym. Energy doesn't show up out of nowhere. It comes from discipline, from fueling your body with nutrition, hydrating yourself, and commanding your thoughts to stay positive and determined. Without energy, you can't give your best. With energy, your best gets better every single session. When you step into the gym, you must carry the mindset that your energy is your weapon. Every rep you perform requires focus, and focus demands energy. If your mind is tired, your body follows. But if your energy is high, your body responds like a machine. That's energy is more than just the fuel you burn during your workout. It's the foundation you build before you even step into the gym. If you walk in drained, unfocused, and distracted, the weights will feel heavier, the sets will feel longer, and your progress will slow. But when you step in with your energy charged, your mind clear, and your focus sharp, everything changes. The same barbell that felt impossible yesterday becomes conquerable today because you prepared yourself not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. Energy is not an accident. It's a choice you make every single day. Think about the times when you trained with high energy. You pushed harder, you lasted longer, and you surprised yourself with what you could achieve. That wasn't luck. That was the result of what you fed your body, how much rest you gave yourself, and the mindset you carried into the gym. Energy doesn't show up out of nowhere. It comes from discipline, from fueling your body with nutrition, hydrating yourself, and commanding your thoughts to stay positive and determined. Without energy, you can't give your best. With energy, your best gets better every single session. When you step into the gym, you must carry the mindset that your energy is your weapon. Every rep you perform requires focus, and focus demands energy. If your mind is tired, your body follows. But if your energy is high, your body responds like a machine. That's when you step into the gym, you need to understand one thing clearly. Pain is not your enemy, it's your greatest ally. Every time your muscles scream, every time your lungs burn, and every time sweat pours down your face, that's not weakness, it's growth. Pain is the process of breaking the old version of yourself and building the new. The discomfort you feel in that moment is the signal that your body is adapting, your mind is strengthening, and your spirit is rising to another level. Too many people run away from pain, but the champions, the real gym warriors, they embrace it. They know that behind the pain is power. If you lift light enough to feel comfortable, you'll never change. Comfort zones never built legends. Pain is the path to progress, and every single rep that feels like it's breaking you is actually making you. The soreness you feel the next morning isn't punishment, it's proof. Proof that you demanded more from your body, and your body is now rebuilding itself to meet that demand. Without that pain, there's no adaptation, no growth, no transformation. You can't pray for strength and avoid the struggle, because the struggle is the very answer to your prayer. You have to reprogram your mind to see pain differently. Instead of thinking, this hurts, start thinking, this is the cost of greatness. Instead of saying, I can't do it. You need to say, this pain is temporary, but my results will last forever. Pain is not permanent, it fades. But the pride you feel for pushing through, the results you see in the mirror, the strength you carry inside you, that's permanent. Every bead of sweat, every aching muscle, every burning rep, it's all part of the price you pay for becoming unstoppable. When you run from pain, you also run from growth. The gym will test you in ways most people can't handle, but that's why most people don't succeed. The moment it gets tough, the average person gives up. But you're not here to be average, you're here to be extraordinary. And extraordinary people are built in the fire of pain. Every time you stay under the bar one more second, every time you finish that last rep even when your muscles are begging you to stop, you're sending a message, I don't quit. I don't bow to pain, I own it. Think of pain as the resistance that forges the weapon. A sword is not sharpened in comfort, it's sharpened against grinding stone. And you are the same. Without resistance you remain dull. With resistance, with pain, with pressure, you sharpen yourself into a weapon capable of anything. That's why pain isn't just part of the process. It is the process. Embrace it, love it, because it's shaping you into who you were meant to become. Most people want results without sacrifice, muscles without soreness, victories without battles. But that's not how life works. This stronger version of yourself is hiding behind the pain you're avoiding. That's why when pain shows up, you shouldn't back down, you should lean in. Because the truth is, pain is proof that you're alive, that you're pushing, that you're on the battlefield doing what most won't do. You're earning the results that others only dream about. When you push through pain, you unlock discipline. Discipline is built when you keep going, not when it's easy, but when it's hard. Pain forces you to choose quit or continue. And every time you choose to continue, you build a stronger mind. A mind that doesn't quit in the gym won't quit in life. You'll take that same toughness, that same resilience into every challenge outside the gym, and you'll dominate there too. That's the hidden gift of pain. It makes you unstoppable far beyond fitness. There will be days when the pain feels unbearable, when you question why you even started. But those are the days that define you. Champions are not made on easy days, they're made on days when pain is overwhelming, but they refuse to break. You must remind yourself that pain is temporary, but quitting is forever. If you surrender to pain, you'll always live with the regret of what could have been. If you fight through it, you'll live with the pride of what you've achieved. Every scar, every sore muscle, every painful set tells your story. It's the story of someone who didn't quit, someone who didn't let pain stop them, someone who transformed weakness into strength. Wear that pain with pride, because it's the signature of your hard work, your discipline, and your determination. No one can take it from you. In the end, pain is not punishment, it's preparation. It's preparing you for the stronger, better, more powerful version of yourself. So the next time you feel the burn, don't run, don't quit, don't fear it. Smile, because you know that pain is the doorway to greatness. Walk through it, and you'll discover the legend you were meant to become. Energy is the force that turns potential into performance. When you step into the gym, your body follows the command of your mind, and your mind responds to the level of energy you choose to create. If you decide to show up tired, distracted, and unfocused, then your workout will reflect that lack of intensity. But if you decide to generate energy, to walk in with power and purpose, then suddenly every movement has meaning, every rep carries weight, and every set drives you closer to greatness. Energy isn't something you wait for, it's something you build. And when you build it, it transforms everything. The gym is not just about weights, it's about attitude. The barbell doesn't care if you're sleepy, the treadmill doesn't care if you're stressed, and the squat rack doesn't care if you had a long day. What matters is the energy you bring in that moment. When you choose to fuel yourself with focus and passion, those machines become tools of transformation. Energy turns obstacles into opportunities, and it allows you to dominate instead of just survive. Energy also separates those who make progress from those who stay stuck. Two people can do the same workout, but one moves with fire while the other moves with laziness. The results will never be the same. When your energy is sharp, your body responds with strength, speed, and endurance. Energy is the multiplier that takes effort and doubles the reward. You don't just find energy, you create it through action. When you push through that first heavy set, when you run that extra mile, when you grind through fatigue instead of giving in, your body generates momentum. That momentum becomes fuel, and that fuel powers you further than you thought you could go. The harder you push, the more energy you unlock, and the more unstoppable you become. Energy is also mental. It's not just about how strong your muscles feel. It's about the mindset that fuels them. When your mind is awake, alert, and hungry for growth, your energy soars. That's why discipline outside the gym matters. Good rest, clean fuel, and positive thoughts all create the energy that powers your workouts. You can't expect high energy from a lazy lifestyle. Energy is earned through consistency, through preparation, and through focus. Every champion in the gym has one thing in common. They never let their energy drop. They may get tired, they may feel pain, but they never allow their spirit to weaken. That inner fire carries them when their body wants to quit. Energy is the invisible strength that refuses to let them stop. It's what keeps the best pushing long after others have given up. If you want legendary results, you need legendary energy. That means showing up ready to destroy excuses, ready to push past pain, and ready to demand more from yourself than anyone else will. The energy you bring today builds the body you'll live in tomorrow. If your energy is weak, your results will be weak. If your energy is powerful, your results will be powerful. Energy is contagious too. When you bring intensity into the gym, you inspire those around you. Others see your fire and it ignites theirs. You become a source of motivation, a living reminder of what commitment looks like. The gym becomes a place not just of sweat, but of shared energy, where one person's strength multiplies into the strength of many. There will be days when you don't feel like you have energy, but that's when it matters most. That's when you dig deep and remind yourself why you started. That's when you pull strength from your vision of the future. When you fight for energy in those moments, you build not just muscles, but character, resilience, and unstoppable willpower. At the end of the day, energy is the bridge between who you are and who you want to be. Without it, your dreams stay dreams. With it, your dreams become reality. The choice is always yours. Show up drained and get nothing, or show up energized and change everything. Bring energy and you won't just survive the gym, you'll dominate it. When you step into the gym, the first thing that powers you isn't the weight on the bar, it's the air in your lungs. Your breathing is the hidden fuel that either sets you up to dominate or leaves you drained before the set even starts. Most people underestimate this, breathing shallowly, letting their chest rise and fall while their stomach remains tight. That kind of breathing keeps your energy locked away. But when you learn to breathe deeply, expanding your diaphragm, pulling oxygen all the way into your body, you awaken energy you didn't even know you had. The truth is, controlled breathing gives you stamina, control, and power. Without it, you're just leaking energy. Every champion understands that oxygen is life. You can survive days without food, but only moments without breath. That means oxygen is your number one source of fuel. Think about how many times you've gone through a heavy set and midway, you're gasping for air because you didn't control your breathing. That panic weakens you, makes your grip shake, makes your muscles give out early. But when you own your breath, you own the weight, you own your movement, and you own your strength. It's not just about survival, it's about thriving under pressure. Breathing isn't just a physical act, it's a mental weapon. When you learn to control your breath, you control your mind. During those moments when the burn in your muscles is screaming for you to quit, deep, steady breathing tells your body, we're not done yet. We've got more. Every inhale is a reminder that you're alive, powerful, and capable. Every exhale is a release of doubt, fatigue, and fear. That's why boxers, sprinters, powerlifters, all great athletes study their breathing. Because in the heat of battle, breath is control and control is victory. When you're under the bar with heavy weight pressing against your back, your breath becomes your shield. Bracing with air in your lungs locks your core, stabilizes your spine, and makes you solid. Without that brace, your foundation crumbles. Imagine trying to squat 400 pounds with no breath control. You'd collapse. But with proper breathing, you're like steel, unshakable. That one change doesn't just protect you from injury, it makes you capable of pushing limits that others would never even dare to test. Breathing also fuels endurance. How many times have you felt drained halfway through a workout? Not because your muscles couldn't handle it, but because you were out of breath. That's the difference between someone who trains casually and someone who trains like a beast. The beast breathes with purpose. They inhale deeply before every rep, exhale with power as they drive the weight, and keep that rhythm locked in from start to finish. That rhythm is what carries you when the set feels endless, when your body is begging to stop. Breath is rhythm, rhythm is power, and power is what separates winners from quitters. Think about runners who dominate long-distance races. They're not just moving their legs faster, they're controlling their breathing. They sync their steps to their inhale and exhale, conserving energy, making sure every ounce of oxygen goes exactly where it needs to. The same applies in the gym. If you let your breath control you, you'll fade. If you control your breath, you'll last longer, hit harder, and finish stronger. That's how you energize yourself in ways most people never understand. There's also a spiritual side to breathing that people overlook. Breath is life. Every inhale is proof that you've been given another chance, another moment, another opportunity to push forward. When you breathe with intention in the gym, it's like you're breathing in life, strength, and courage. You're saying to yourself, I am alive, I am powerful, I will not stop. And when you exhale, you're releasing weakness, doubt, and fear. That's why controlling your breath isn't just science, it's mindset. It's claiming victory with every inhale and every exhale. Controlled breathing also teaches patience. Most people rush their sets, rushing through reps, rushing through life, never realizing that rushing drains energy. But when you take control of your breath, you slow down, you lock in, you become deliberate. Suddenly, your training isn't just mindless motion, it's intentional power. Each rep becomes sharper, stronger, more effective. You stop wasting energy on sloppy form and start channeling it into maximum impact. That's the difference between training for results and training for nothing. When fatigue hits, breath becomes your reset button. Ever notice how, after a heavy set, you feel like collapsing? But if you pause and take 3 deep, controlled breaths, suddenly you feel ready to go again. That's the power of oxygen refueling your body. It's not magic, it's biology. Your muscles need oxygen to fire, your brain needs oxygen to focus, and your heart needs oxygen to pump harder. 3. Deep breaths can bring you back from the edge of exhaustion and give you the second wind you thought you didn't have. That's how warriors keep pushing when others tap out. So if you want to energize yourself, start with your breath. Mastering your breathing isn't an accessory, it's the foundation. It turns you from someone who's just going through the motions into someone who dominates every rep, every set, every workout. Your breath is your power source, your stabilizer, your rhythm, your reset, and your weapon. Own your breathing, and you'll unlock strength, focus, and endurance that most people will never even touch. In the gym, in life, in every battle you face, energy begins and ends with the breath. When you walk into the gym, you're not just lifting weights. You're lifting energy, spirit, and life itself. Most people think the workout is only about muscle, but the truth is, it's about how alive you allow yourself to feel in the process. And that starts with something deeper than just physical movement. It starts with realizing that breath is life. Every time you inhale, you're pulling in power, you're pulling in strength. You're pulling in a reminder that you're still here, still fighting, still alive. That's why your workout isn't just about building your body, it's about awakening your spirit. The gym isn't only a place of iron and sweat, it's a temple of transformation. Every rep you do with controlled breathing becomes a form of discipline, a form of worship of your own potential. When you inhale, it's not just air filling your lungs. It's a declaration that you will not quit, that you are bigger than your excuses, that you are stronger than your doubts. When you exhale, you are pushing out every ounce of negativity, every thought of weakness, every whisper that says, you can't. The act of breathing becomes a battle cry that fuels your spirit to keep pushing. Breath connects the physical to the mental and the spiritual. That's why when you train with intention, it feels different. Your lungs expand, your chest rises, and your mind sharpens. You don't just feel alive, you feel unstoppable. You begin to realize that oxygen isn't just survival, it's fuel for greatness. And when you combine deep breathing with focused movement, your body becomes a machine powered not just by muscle, but by clarity, focus, and unshakable energy. There's a reason elite athletes talk about flow state, that zone where everything feels effortless and powerful. That state comes when breath, body, and mind move as one. In that zone, every rep feels connected, every movement feels smooth, and your energy feels endless. You don't just train, you dominate. Breath is the bridge that carries you into that zone. Without it, you're scattered, distracted, and drained. With it, you're locked in, controlled, and ready to destroy every limit in front of you. On the hardest days, when your body feels heavy and your mind is foggy, breathing is what resets your energy. You don't always need another supplement, another song, or another shot of caffeine. You need to return to the basics. 3 deep breaths in and out, and suddenly you remember why you're here. You're here to get stronger, to become disciplined, to build the version of yourself that refuses to break. That's what breathing reminds you of, that as long as you can inhale, you can keep moving forward. Your breath also carries emotional energy. That's why people sigh when they're stressed and breathe deeply when they're relieved. The gym is the same. When you breathe with control, you're releasing tension, releasing stress, releasing the weight of the world. That's why training feels like therapy. It's not just the iron you're lifting. It's the burdens you're putting down with every exhale. By the time you finish, you're lighter, clearer, and more alive than when you walked in. Every inhale is also a moment of gratitude. Think about it. Your body is giving you the chance to keep fighting, to keep lifting, to keep showing up. Breathing isn't something you earned, it's a gift. But what you do with that gift is your responsibility. In the gym, you honor that gift by turning every breath into strength, every set into growth, every workout into proof that you are not wasting the life you've been given. Controlled breathing also teaches resilience. When the weight feels unbearable, when your muscles shake, and when quitting feels like the only option, a steady breath tells your mind to keep calm, to stay focused, to push through. Breath is what keeps you present, keeps you alive in the moment instead of drowning in the pain. With every controlled inhale, you're telling yourself, we are not breaking today. With every exhale, you're proving it. Breath is the rhythm of life, and when you sync it with your workout, your entire training transforms. Suddenly, your sets have more power, your focus sharpens, and your endurance skyrockets. The same principle applies outside the gym too. In life's toughest battles, when anxiety, fear, or pressure tries to crush you, controlling your breath is how you stay centered. The same strength you practice under the bar becomes the same strength you carry into the world. So when I say energize yourself, I don't just mean lifting weights or moving fast. I mean breathing with purpose, training with intention, and connecting every inhale to your fight and every exhale to your freedom. Your breath is your hidden power source. The moment you master it, you stop just surviving your workouts and start thriving in them. And once you can thrive in the gym, you'll find you can thrive anywhere, because energy isn't something you wait for. It's something you create with every breath you take. When life throws weight on your shoulders, it's not always the plates in the gym. It's the pressure of bills, responsibilities, setbacks, and challenges that feel like they'll break you. But here's the truth. You've been given a built-in tool to carry that weight, to balance it, and to rise under it. That tool is your focus. Focus is your inner spotlight. It's what keeps your mind steady when the world is chaotic. And just like a barbell, it can be trained, sharpened, and made unshakable. The gym becomes the perfect place to build this discipline. Every rep is a test of your focus. When the bar is heavy and your muscles are screaming, your mind will want to wander. It will want to think about quitting, about resting, about the easier path. But if you discipline your focus, if you train yourself to lock in on the next rep, the next breath, the next push, You start building a mind that refuses to drift. That same focus you practice in the gym is the same focus you'll use when life tries to distract you with setbacks, negativity, or fear. Distraction is the silent killer of greatness. In the gym, distraction is the phone, the people around you, or your own negative self-talk. In life, distraction is doubt, procrastination, and giving attention to things that don't build your future. Focus is the antidote. When you practice zoning in on your goal, tuning out everything else, and channeling your energy into the task at hand, you don't just get stronger physically, you get unstoppable mentally. Focus also determines the quality of your energy. Think about it. If your energy is scattered, you'll feel drained and weak, even if you've done nothing. But if your energy is concentrated, aimed like a laser, you'll have power that feels limitless. That's why some people achieve in 1 year what others can't in 10. They've mastered the art of focus. They know how to channel their energy into what matters most without being pulled in 100 directions. In the gym, focus shows up in your form. It's not just about lifting the weight, it's about lifting it with precision, with intention, with mastery. Sloppy focus produces sloppy results, but sharp focus produces transformation. The same applies to life. When you approach your goals with precision, when you commit to excellence instead of just going through the motions, your results will speak for themselves. Focus is also about vision. It's the ability to see where you're going even when you're not there yet. In the gym, you don't just see the mirror. You see the future version of yourself you're building rep by rep. In life, you don't just see the struggles, you see the success on the other side. Without vision, focus fades. But when your vision is clear, focus becomes your greatest weapon. There will always be noise around you. People doubting you, circumstances testing you, voices inside telling you to stop. But focus silences that noise. It narrows your attention to the present moment, to the one thing you can control right now. You can't lift tomorrow's weight today, and you can't fight battles that aren't here yet. But you can lock in on this rep, this set, this moment. That's how focus turns weakness into strength and chaos into clarity. Discipline and focus are brothers. One cannot exist without the other. Discipline gets you into the gym, but focus makes sure you give your best while you're there. Discipline pushes you to chase your dreams, but focus makes sure you don't waste years chasing the wrong ones. Together, they make you unstoppable. Without them, you're scattered, distracted, and easily broken. Every great champion, in the gym or in life, has one thing in common: ruthless focus. They're not better than you. They're not stronger, smarter, or luckier. They simply know how to direct their attention like a weapon. They don't waste energy on distractions. They don't let negativity derail them. They lock in on the goal and keep moving forward, no matter what. So when I say energize yourself, don't just think about physical power. Think about mental focus, because energy without focus is wasted. But energy with focus is world-changing. Lock in, train your focus like you train your body. And when life tests you, you'll have the clarity, strength, and vision to keep moving, keep building, and keep winning. Consistency is the silent force that separates the dreamers from the doers, the talkers from the achievers, and the quitters from the champions. Anyone can show up once. Anyone can feel motivated for a day, a week, or even a month. But consistency, that's where the real test begins. It's about showing up when motivation has died, when energy feels low, and when life piles obstacles in your way. It's about proving, day after day, that you are committed to your vision even when it feels inconvenient, painful, or slow. Think about the gym. Results don't come from lifting once. They don't come from a single hard session or 1 week of discipline. They come from repeated effort, applied over time until your body has no choice but to adapt. That's the power of consistency. Every rep adds up, every set counts. Every day of discipline is a brick in the foundation of your greatness. One brick may not look like much, but stack thousands and you've built a fortress. Consistency is not about perfection. It's not about never missing a day, never feeling tired, or never slipping. It's about coming back. It's about refusing to let one missed workout turn into a missed week, or one bad meal turn into a lifestyle of excuses. Champions aren't perfect, they're consistent. They win not because energy is not something you just stumble upon. It is something you create, something you cultivate, and something you demand from yourself. Too many people sit around waiting for energy to show up, like it's a gift that falls from the sky. But in reality, energy is the byproduct of movement, discipline, and intentional action. When you step into the gym, you're not only training your muscles, you're training your body to generate power, your mind to push through resistance, and your spirit to stay unshaken no matter the weight you carry. Think about it. The first 5 minutes of a workout might feel like you're dragging yourself through mud. But as soon as you push past that barrier, as soon as you demand more from your body, the energy starts to flow. That's because energy isn't found, it's produced. Every rep, every breath, every bead of sweat is your body's way of building momentum. You don't wait for energy, you create it by moving forward, by refusing to give in to laziness, and by reminding yourself that your body was designed to operate with strength. Energy is not something you just stumble upon, it is something you create, something you cultivate, and something you demand from yourself. Too many people sit around waiting for energy to show up like it's a gift that falls from the sky. But in reality, energy is the byproduct of movement, discipline, and intentional action. When you step into the gym, you're not only training your muscles, you're training your body to generate power, your mind to push through resistance, and your spirit to stay unshaken no matter what weight you carry. Think about it. The first 5 minutes of a workout might feel like you're dragging yourself through mud. But as soon as you push past that barrier, as soon as you demand more from your body, the energy starts to flow. That's because energy isn't found, it's produced. Every rep, every breath, every bead of sweat is your body's way of building momentum. You don't wait for energy, you create it by moving forward, by refusing to give in to laziness, and by reminding yourself that your body was designed to operate with strength. Energy is also fueled by your mindset. If you walk into the gym with negativity, with thoughts of "I'm tired" or "I can't do this," your energy will match that weakness. But if you walk in with purpose, with the mindset of a warrior ready to conquer, your energy multiplies. Your mind controls the fire inside you, and if you stoke it with belief, confidence, and determination, that fire never dies. Energy is also fueled by your mindset. If you walk into the gym with negativity, with thoughts of "I'm tired" or "I can't do this," your energy will match that weakness. But if you walk in with purpose, with the mindset of a warrior ready to conquer, your energy multiplies. Your mind controls the fire inside you, and if you stoke it with belief, confidence, and determination, that fire never dies. Energy doesn't